I heard something the other day in an affirmation video that I was randomly listening to, but it unlocked something in me. And it was this phrase. And the phrase goes, "It is my job to align with what I'm asking for." And it really hit me because all of this time I have been trying to manifest my dreams and my goals and to just think happy thoughts that would get me all the things that I wanted in life to come to me, where I was like a magnet attracting these goals. But then this phrase really unlocked it for me because it's true. It is my job. Yes, I do have all of these wants and goals, but it is still my job to align with those wants and goals so that I could attract them to myself and become the magnet for these things to come into my life, if that makes sense. Creating and attaining the goals that you want always starts with your thoughts. In order to become a published author, I first need to write a book. And in order to write a book, I first need to have the idea to write a book. And in order to have the idea to write a book, I first must believe that it is possible for someone like me to even write a book to begin with. If you want to achieve a goal, it always starts with your thoughts and your beliefs. However, just because you are in the manifestation world doesn't mean that just because you think that you're going to get something and you believe in it hard enough that you're going to get it. You still have to take inspired action. Taking my author dreams as an example, just because I believe that I can become an author doesn't mean that I will become an author. I can't just sit here and daydream about it constantly and then wake up the next day and see a published book out in the world. I still have to actually write the book. Yes, it starts with my thoughts and my beliefs, but I still have to do the inspired action that would get me to my goals and my dreams. So now let's do some reflection. Every once in a while, I like to visualize the person that I'm going to be in a few years. And my time horizon can probably stretch until next year, maybe 5 years into the future. But I picture this person and what does she like to do every day? Where is she in life? And what does she do every day to achieve those dreams? Because I've learned now, after achieving some of my own goals, that there are things that seem really easy on the outside, but actually take consistent effort, consistent daily habitual work that have gotten me to where I am. And so in visualizing this person that I want to be maybe next year, I like to break it down into daily habits that this person might have. When she wakes up, does she go for a run first thing in the morning? Does she exercise first thing in the morning? Or does she binge out or read a book? I try to picture the daily habits that get her to where she is, what she does every day. What does she wear? What does she look like? What is her routine like? How does she step out of the house? How does she present herself? What habits does she have? What does her daily schedule look like? When you look at somebody's accomplishments at the end and the goals that they've already achieved, they always tend to make it really easy. Professionals always make their job look easy. This is something that they do that is honed over years of practice and crafting and abilities and doing what they do every single day. This past few years, I've learned that when something looks that easy, it's the result of consistent, hard daily habits. So picture the goal that you want to have, whether it's to look amazing or to just look like a totally different person next year, or to finish a huge project that you've been thinking about, like writing a book, for example. I know that I keep using that as an example, but I've written some books and I'm working on one right now that is just so hard for me for some reason to just get through, and I am really trying to lock in on that goal. Picture having achieved that goal and work backwards. What would you have done in order to achieve that goal? And for me, it's to just get through the work and grind through and stop being such a whiny little brat about writing books, which I've done in the past, and I don't know why it's so hard this time. I'm going to take a moment to visualize myself having already written this book that I am working so hard on, and that's so hard for me this time around. Before that book is published, I probably would have had to edit it a number of times. Before that book comes out, I probably would have had to proofread it one last time and read through it and to make sure that it is perfect. And I would have worked on an editor to revise it at least 2 or 3 times. And before that, I would have edited myself several times. And before that, I would have had a beta reader read it several times. And I would have had my agent read it and make sure it was good. And before that, I would have edited myself and revised it myself so many times, more times than I can count. For my previous books, I've always revised at least like 8 times. That's not an exaggeration. acceleration. And 8 times is probably lowballing it. And in remembering that it takes that long and it's that hard and that I can't skip that work reminds me that this is not something easy. It's not something even that simple, but it's something that I have to work on and I have to take inspired actions towards in order to achieve my dreams. So if you're picturing the person that you want to be, and I just made it sound very hard and very difficult, but if you break it down into small steps, start there, do that every day until it gets easy, and then move on to the next step and break it down into smaller steps, and then do that every day until that gets easy, and then move on to the next part of the goal until you become the person that you've always thought about, until you've accomplished the goal that you've been thinking about all these years. And I'm making this video mostly for myself because I'm finding the task of writing this book that I'm working on just so incredibly difficult. And I'm trying to remind myself that I've been here before, that I can work backwards and accomplish this goal that I've set up for myself. And I'm going to align myself with the goal that I'm trying to achieve. And it starts today, and by this time next year, I will have accomplished this goal, but I need to break it down into small steps today. And today I'm going to start by revising my novel, damn it, because that is what I've been struggling to do, and I'm going to get through it. I hope this video was helpful to you in me talking about my struggles and what I'm trying to accomplish over the next few weeks or so. If you found this video helpful, please give me a like and subscribe. By the way, my name is Van Hoang. I'm an author and librarian. My books include Girl Giant and the Monkey King, which is a middle grade novel about a Vietnamese girl who develops super strength, and she accidentally unlocks the trickster demon god, the Monkey King, and makes a deal with him and gets into a lot of trouble. I also have books for adults. The first one is Monstrous Mrs. Mai, which is about 4 young women who accidentally become witches in 1959 Los Angeles just because they're trying to pay rent. And then my second book for adults is Silver and Smoke, about 2 demonic starlets. So if that interests you, please give it a read. Also, please consider signing up for my newsletter, authorvanhoang.com. I give monthly updates on my writing journey and whatever publishing struggles I'm going through at the moment. I will see you in the next one. Bye!